Welcome back. You're watching The Full View. The Unemployment Insurance Fund will start accepting applications for workers affected by unrest. Temporary financial relief scheme from August 25. The UIF clients may only submit a continuation of benefit from once the normal benefit claim has been approved, we're told. The financial relief scheme has been established to assist workers whose workplaces have been closed owing to the recent unrest in KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng, resulting in workers receiving partial remuneration or none at all. Advocate Mzi Yawa is the Acting Unemployment Insurance Fund Commissioner. He joins us now. Very good evening to you, and thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you very much, and good evening to you and to your viewers.
Let's just start with the processes that people will have to undergo. What will be required, particularly for employers, in order to enjoy the benefits that will be passed on to their employees?
Well, they will have to apply for their employees, and they will have to be coming from the areas affected by the unrest in KZN and in Gauteng. And they will also have to, in the application, indicate to us that they've reported the matter to the police, whatever happened to their business, resulting in them not operating now. If they're insured, they will have to also indicate that they have filed an application in the insurance. These are mechanisms for us to try and be comfortable that indeed they were in those areas and the employees in question are working there. Amongst the last items, of course, is a proof of an employer-employee relationship, and this we shall establish more easily with a payroll that they shall have supplied to their bank over the past period. We will indicate in the application for how long, what period the payroll should prove, but we want to establish there that there is an employer-employee relationship, and it's not popping up now that there's some unrest relief and everybody starts to be an employee or starts to be an employer and starts to be in KZN in the affected area or starts to be in Gauteng in the affected area.
How are you going to police employers? I'm sure you will have to ensure that employers apply on behalf of those affected, as in the workers, that they will have to meet a certain criteria, qualifying conditions. So what will they have to do and how will you police them? Because we do know that there are several cases of employees who have not enjoyed their UIF benefits because employers themselves are not passing them on. Okay, it seems like we have to try that line again. Our guest may be having some technical problems. Let's see if we can get Advocate Yawa. Once again, Advocate Yawa, can you hear us? Okay, it seems
I can hear you now.
Yes, so I was asking, how are you going to police this process, given that we have known employers who've been accused of not passing on these benefits to the employees, that many have been cheated out of money. So how are you going to ensure that the employers apply on behalf of the affected workers and that they meet those criteria, those qualifying conditions?
Well, let's start with the part of the money getting to the employee. We shall pay directly to the bank account of the for as we did in the past to the employer, who must then pass it on. Precisely for the point you're making that some did not, and some passed portions and not what the UIF gave. So we go to the employee. So in the application, like the question was at first, give us the details.
Okay.
The cell phone, employee consent, their ID, so that we can also communicate with the employee consent ourselves. Amongst the mechanisms of policing it, as we're saying, we're relating with the South African Police Service. There are other government departments that are giving relief. Some are giving relief directly to the business, but it's coming from the same circumstance. We're in touch with those departments to exchange notes, as they would say, that those can get company. This is a payment due, and it's due to the person claimed for.
I'm hoping that our line is going to hold up because the quality is not the very best. But I want to address some of the complaints that we've seen from people on Twitter. Some say their correspondence is not being answered, saying, you know, they have to wait for a very long time. People are either not answering the phones. So what should people do? Some are asking, for instance, for alternate numbers because they're saying the numbers that they're dialing are not working.
In truth, I suppose when you say people, you mean employees. In truth, employees should not be busy in this. The reason why we say it's the employer who must apply is because the employer knows the employees that work for them. Even one employer has got 500 employees, and we just talk to that employer. And any of their employees, if they've got issues, they talk to their employer, not to UIF. All these problems that people are saying phones are not answered and so on would be solved. Because you can imagine, I mean, if we must talk 75,000 workers who are affected, about 75, I don't think even in the country there's a single call center that can answer 75,000 calls at a go. But this one is truly unnecessary. If employees talk to their employers who will apply for them and get whatever clarity they need, there's no need for anybody to be sending correspondence to UIF, phoning UIF, WhatsApping UIF, or talking on WhatsApp on
Advocate
UIF.
Yawa, allow me to interrupt you and say, I'm sure you would understand that people are not doing this of their own volition. The SABC did a story in which we in fact interviewed people who had been in queues for a very long time, since the early hours of the morning. One gentleman saying that for the past couple of months, this is all that he's been doing. It certainly means that they're not getting any joy from their employers, to such an extent that the frustration spilled over to a security guard who was beat up because those who were in the queue were saying, you stand there from 4 a.m. in the morning only to be told halfway down the line that please go back home. So let's deal with the realities. You say people shouldn't be calling, but they are now in this situation. What other avenues are there for them to resolve these issues?
The other, I suppose from what you're talking, you're not talking about the special unrest benefit or the TES where the employers apply. The other avenue that we have, and we've communicated this to our people, we understand the frustration. We understand the traditional approach of standing in a queue. We've got our systems electronic, and these are free. People don't pay. We've got a contract with Vodacom where you can lodge your application online, for which you pay no cent. Just like we've got the call center for which we absorb the costs, to avoid people going and standing in queues. But we equally understand that some of us are still here the face to, unfortunately, in the realities that we have. If people prefer to go and be in a queue, just like when you go in a queue to vote, you must have a preparedness that you'll stand for it in the queue for a while. But voting is different because you're forced there. There's no other way you can go and vote. In this one, you can apply online, seated at your home or in a nearby shop, where if there's a long queue in this internet cafe, you go to the next one. We are paying millions and millions of benefits with people who have not even wasted a single of their energy in a queue.
Okay.
We apologize for all inconvenience that occurred. Some of what we do to our people is to, when they come to the queues, we've got queue marshals who try to ease the issues of the queues. In some respects, we talk to them, give them appointments, and say, come back at this time. When you get here at this time, we're going to deal with you. You go to so-and-so. Of course, those processes are innovations. They may not be yet, they may not have overtaken the known methods that is only what is there, and we shall overcome it.
It's such a pity, Advocate Yawa, that we are running out of time, but those whom you're saying they simply just have to go on their phones and do this would probably come back and retort that data is expensive. They obviously don't have the money to do that. But there is also those who are struggling with claiming back their money following maternity leave. I know several cases such as this. What do you say to those? Because some will tell you that they have waited even a year to get their monies from UIF.
No, we don't deny that. We've got, like now when I'm acting, I've put a process we call a backlog bashing intervention. Some of it was a situation where all our online normal benefits were coming to head office. And of course, there's no way you can, whilst the Department of Labour is in 9 provinces with over 100 labour centres, it even has visiting points and buses that go to people. All of a sudden, you leave all of that infrastructure and you flood it all in one place. We've decentralizing that all those online applications must be attended to by anyone and everyone who's authorized to do so from our staff, anywhere they may be. That way is going to make those backlogs to go away quite fast. We are working on that now. The decentralization proposal is pending a signature. It may be done anytime by our DG, and we're talking to our CDPOs, chief directors of provincial operations, to talk to every other staff member until the bus, until the labor center, until the visiting point, that all of us in one accord,
all right,
we attend to it, so that is a thing of the past.
Advocate Mzi Yawa, Acting Unemployment Insurance Fund Commissioner, thank you very much for your time.